Hello and welcome to Crafting with Craft Elf. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a pumpkin centerpiece out of orange sliced gumdrops. Now before you get started, it's a great idea to cover your work surface with a piece of wax paper or foil, something to keep the surface nice and clean, and it also helps when it's time to clean up. So what you need to do first is get some toothpicks. You're going to need about 35, the ones that have a point on both ends. Now you need to cut the 35 toothpicks in half. I found the easiest way to do that is to hold the toothpick on one end. You're going to hold it between your thumb and your ring finger, and then your two fingers that are standing up like a peace sign, you're going to just hold the toothpick between those. And take a pair of scissors and cut right in the middle of the toothpick. Now again, you take your thumb and your ring finger, hold one end, then use your other two fingers to hold the other end. When you go to cut, it's easiest if you put the toothpick all the way back in the scissors. Don't try to cut it with the tip. You want to cut way back here. It makes a nice easy cut and there's no stress on the scissors. One more time. Between the thumb and the ring finger, and then hold the other end with those two fingers. Now, if you just try holding one end and cutting it, you can do it, but the toothpick's going to go flying and you're going to lose half of your toothpicks and you're going to be collecting them all over the floor. So, you want to go ahead and do that until you've cut about 33 to 35 toothpicks. Then what you need to do is get a 4-inch styrofoam ball. Now you don't want the ball rolling away on you, so what you're going to do is take the ball, place it down on your work surface, and just press down gently, and it will make a flat spot so that your ball does not roll away on you. Now, before we start adding gumdrops to the styrofoam ball, we're going to take some foil, and we're going to cover the styrofoam ball in foil. That will keep it clean so that you'll be able to eat the gumdrops when you're done looking at the pretty centerpiece. Okay, so now I have my 4-inch styrofoam ball covered in foil. I have my 35 cut toothpicks, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting the toothpicks into the orange sliced gumdrops. Now, they kind of look like a little smiley. One side of it's flat. You want to take the cut end of a toothpick and stick it into the flat side of the gumdrop fairly close to the end. Again, you take one of the orange sliced gumdrops, flat side, put the cut end of the toothpick close to the edge. I like to go ahead and do this with a lot of them. Now you want to make sure that you save 7 of these for the top of the pumpkin, that you don't put these toothpicks in. I'm going to show you in a couple minutes what we do with that. So now to get started, you've got a bunch of these. You want to work with your ball on the table. It's really important that you're directly on the table because you want the gumdrops to come all the way to the bottom. You don't want them to end up being a little higher up like this and seeing foil underneath it. So you want to just slide it straight in so that the toothpick goes through the foil and into the styrofoam ball. You also want to make sure that you place the gumdrops close together. You don't want to see big gaps of foil in between. So now what you would do is you would continue adding the orange sliced gumdrops all the way around the bottom. Once you do that, you'd go back and do a second row just above it, so that you don't want to line it up exactly with the one above it like this. You want to kind of overlap the cracks. It'll fill it in more and make it look a little, give it a little more character. So you're going to do that 3 times. You're going to make 3 rows. And you will have something that looks like this. Again, I would go all the way around with the bottom row, all the way around with the next row, and then all the way around with your third row. And you'll notice the top of it is a much smaller area now, and the way that we're going to cover that, we're going to take one of the orange slice gumdrops and we're going to stand it on end, and we're going to cut it in half this way. Okay, so they're very sticky because they're very fresh. So now you have 2 halves of the orange slice gumdrops. You're going to lay them side by side like this, forming a circle, and place it right on the top. Now, they're kind of gummy, so they will stick in place for now, and you don't need to worry about putting a toothpick in it now, because we will be putting a toothpick in it in just a minute. You'll see. So now you need to take 6 or 8 of the gumdrops and cut them in the other direction. So you're going to cut them so that they're short and wide. Okay. Probably going to need 8 of them. So now, once you've got 8, so that would be 16 halves, the cut edge, if you were holding the cut edge flat on your surface, you're going to want to put the cut end of a toothpick into the other flat surface. So the cut end goes face down, cut end face down, and then again close to the tip but on the flat side. Now, once you do that with all of these, then you're going to start putting them, you want to put the cut side towards the previous row. And it's just going to fill in this space up top nicely. See what I'm doing there? I have the other gumdrop flat, and I only had a plate under this for transport, because we want to work with it flat on our table. Putting it on a plate afterwards is a great way to keep it clean when you put it out as a centerpiece. They also make great gifts. If you are going to a party and you want to bring a hostess gift, if you make one of these, you can wrap it in like cellophane and draw it up over the top and draw it up together and put a pretty bow on it. It makes a nice presentation. So you're going to continue around. There's a couple more that I already cut. You go all the way around till all the foil is covered. The gumdrops really want to stick to the knife. Cutting them is definitely, cutting the gumdrops and cutting the toothpicks is definitely a job for an adult. But children could help you put the gumdrops onto the styrofoam. Okay, so we're just about done here. And then I'll show you how we get the leaves. Just one more here. Okay, now the top of the pumpkin needs to have some leaves. So what you're going to do is take these green gumdrops are called spearmint leaves. If you look closely at them, they look like a little leaf. So with the leaf standing straight up, you're going to put the cut end of a toothpick just into the bottom, just a little ways. And then you're going to poke it into the top of the pumpkin. And you can do the same thing with another one, and that way you have 2 leaves on the top of your pumpkin. And there you have it, a gumdrop pumpkin centerpiece. If you put this out at a party, you can tell the guests that as part of dessert, they can start to eat off of it. Anyway, it's a great conversation piece and it is delicious. For the written instructions for this project and many more free craft projects, please visit our website, craftelf.com. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube. You want to be among the first to know when we post a new project. Happy crafting!